There's infinite compassion from life for the misunderstanding we might be with as human beings. And what I mean by this is, for example, think back to a problem that you had that you really, really painfully thought was a problem, but you found out that it was an opportunity. That you found out, and hear this, you found out that it wasn't what you thought it was. It could be as simple as the smallest annoyance to the most life-altering, shattering experience. Sickness, disease. Notice that moment when you thought you knew, painfully so, and then found out it wasn't that. The compassion shows itself when you see the innocence of what you saw, because yes, it looked like that. You remember? It really looked like that. Do you see the innocence in that? In the magnitude of this miracle you're swimming in, it can look like a lot of things. But just because it looks like that doesn't mean it is that. In the same way, we could all be looking up at a cloud in the sky and we can say, that looks like a scary monster. Yeah, it looks like that, but is that really what it is? And so anything that might be restricting the joy in your life right now, you're looking at something and you think it's a monster. Is that really what it is? Again, you can see how this invites the stillness. One of the most ancient teachings, be still. What's really true? And when you ask what's really true, you'll find out that you think you know what it is, but you don't really know. It only looks like this. This is every problem you've ever experienced. And it will be every problem you will ever experience. Very innocently, again innocently, you will only misunderstand what you're looking at. Whether that's observing an emotional experience inside of you, whether that's an experiencing another person who's pissed off at you, whether that's you being pissed off at another human being, or even if it's what you perceive to be a problem in the world. If there's anything that can restrict the love's flow from within you, then you're misunderstanding what you're seeing. That's exciting. If you can see this beyond my silly words about it. Again, not just to hear what I say, but to see it in your direct experience. It starts to answer that question, what's really going on? What's really going on is you're becoming more clear about what's real. You're integrating the truth of life and letting go what is not the truth. Do you see how this is the most important thing? Again, the inspiration for devotion. Because in our minds, we have the idea of our life. Everything we think is going on. Da 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 da. But I'm pointing you to see that this, what I'm pointing to, gives birth to everything. If this isn't seen, you will only become lost. You can count on that. Which is why there is what we call pain. Oh my goodness. Notice this play in your human experience where there is pain that arises, let's say emotional pain, and it shuts you down. And you see that the emotional pain you've had is the alarm that says you're misunderstanding what you're experiencing. You're withholding love for reasons that are impossible. And so you're getting a pain response that essentially invites you to look at what's going on. This is what pain always does, is it brings you to a place of reflection that says, again, what the hell's going on? So silly that we would argue with pain. It's super beautiful. Where you feel emotional pain, you go, oh yes, thank you. It's time to take a time out. I need to be still. In the same way with physical pain, I've said this 1,000 times. You touch a hot stove and it hurts. Why? Don't touch hot things. It's a teacher. It's there to get your attention. You're off in la la land imagining all sorts of things. And then in the physicality of your experience, you touch something that's hot, that's going to cause serious damage to your being. And so that pain is an alarm mechanism that says, wake up. Take your hand off the stove. Aren't you thankful for that? Without it, you just keep your hand there. It'd burn up. Oh man, I wish I had a signal or something. Something to tell me that I'm moving out of alignment with wellness. This is what emotional pain is doing. It's all the same mechanism. You have the outer experience of pain and then the inner experience of pain. Both the same mechanism. And you can see that that physical pain, it comes from love. It's there to support you, to wake you up. It comes and goes. And what happens if you don't listen? It gets worse. Does it not? Could you imagine you touch a hot stove? It's like, okay, yeah, that fucking hurts, but I'm gonna tough it out. And it hurts more and more and more and more until you're forced to remove your hand. Emotional pain is no different, where you ignore and ignore and ignore, suppress and suppress and suppress. Then you find yourself in therapy, finally having to talk about it. Sooner or later, the pain has to be acknowledged. And then as you move through it, you say, why did I wait so long? That was silly. I was scared of nothing. Even this play of pain does not escape the realm of this love. It too is love's expression. But you will not find the world to agree with you, as with 99% of what I'm saying. The world wants to get rid of pain. So we find ways to suppress it. Adorably so. But does it really go away? No. A life worth living for is a life devoted to the truth. A life that is devoted to recognizing and connecting with what's real. And in that devotion, there will be a monumental remembering of love. You will see what this is really about. And as you recognize this love, my God, you won't be able to stop yourself from sharing this love. You won't be able to stop yourself from sharing this love. And I'm not speaking to any particular form or action, but I'm speaking to this love looking out from behind your eyes. This is the greatest love you will share with the world. There is such a power in this beyond any action in the world. When you look out into the world and you see love, that becomes your contribution. Do you see how that could be? I don't know if it's as obvious. Like, for example, if somebody comes to you with conflict and you see love, you see how that holds space for healing? Like if you're not defending yourself, protecting your ego structure or whatever, but you see love, you are now sharing love with the world. Again, the importance of seeing these things. And the beauty of this is that you discover these things in stillness. You don't have to do shit. I know there's lots of spiritual activities you can do, but really what it is the recognition of what's true. And the spiritual activities create a container for stillness, for you to be still until you misunderstand the spiritual activity and make it a goal. But the container is a space that invites a recognition of what's true, which is almost like recognizing, oh yeah, there's no problem. Everything's okay. All is well.